Hi guys, it's Sebastian with Looking, Feeling, Smelling Great. I'm back with another video for you today. Today's video is my top 10 fragrances purchased and or acquired in 2016 with one honorable mention, so please stay tuned. There were a lot of great releases in the year 2016. Now that the year is coming to a close, I wanted to put together this list and get it out there for you guys. I did a video in the middle of the year and I called it, top 10 fragrances acquired so far in 2016, but this one has changed because, obviously new fragrances came out after, and I wanted to include the new ones in it and just kind of like take inventory of what I had in the previous list, add new ones, take new ones out, take some out, and shuffle things around because of how I'm using them, how much I'm using them, or how little I'm using it, if that makes sense. So we do have one honorable mention in this list, and that fragrance is from the house of DIPTYQUE, a house that rarely gets spoken about in fragrance community, and that fragrance is Eau de SENS by DIPTYQUE, of course. Now this one is a great spring, summer, fall fragrance. It is orange blossom dominant, and it kind of has like this jasmine or additional floral, slightly powdery take on the orange blossom note, and I really absolutely love it. It's a great one to wear during the warmer months and even have like a pretty decent longevity for an eau de toilette release. It's a unique take on orange blossom. If you like that note, you probably will like this, but then you might be turned off by powdery because it does have this little bit of powderiness, but I really like that one. And I think the powderiness comes from like a jasmine note in here or something, but really, really great stuff. Eau de SENS by DIPTYQUE. Okay, number 10 is a fragrance from that house. I guess it's not really a house, it's a concept. It's a project, that's why it's called Project Renegades. And that fragrance is GEZA SCHOEN right here. Now this is, 3 fragrances were launched by Project Renegades. Each fragrance had a different nose behind its fragrance. This is GEZA SCHOEN. They had Bertrand de Chauffour for another fragrance, and then they also had Mark Buxton for another one. So the 3 of them came out together. This one has a magnet on it, as you can see. It's a unique little bottle. You don't have to have the magnet on there, but it's a fun little concept. But the fragrance is a fruity kind of fresh but dense, fruity, ambery kind of a fragrance. If you don't know GEZA SCHOEN, he did Molecule 1 by Eccentric Molecules. ISO Super E is, I think, included in here. It kind of has this like a cedar-like woody smell to it. But this is a fruity, peppery, almost like wasabi. It comes off like wasabi to me, but really great for the warm months, summertime. And I thought this was the most unique out of the 3. But again, that's just me. I really like it. It's just really fresh but dense for a fresh scent. So GEZA SCHOEN with Project Renegades at number 10. Number 9, this actually was way at the top of the list in the halfway mark. It's slipped down now, even though I still really like it. It's MARFA by MEMO Paris. So kind of comes off very, almost like tobacco to me. I think I've mentioned that before a few times. But I really like this one. It's kind of like one of the fragrances that got me into wearing more white floral fragrances. But if you're turned off by white floral fragrances, you probably like this one because it's very masculine, as I said. MARFA is a city in Texas, an art city, and I guess it's inspired with that city. I'm not really familiar with MARFA, Texas, but then again, I don't think you need to be to enjoy this one. It's a great release from MEMO, and I really love it. So it's number 9, MEMO Paris MARFA. Number 8 is a designer, and it's a regular collection designer. It's not their exclusive collection. This is Cartier, L'Envol de Cartier. This was number 1 in my designer releases video, but it is number 8 in my overall. I really like this one because of the honey and the musk. It's very cozy, comforting release, and it's definitely a unique fragrance for designers. And hardly anybody is talking about L'Envol de Cartier. And for being such a unique scent, and no one talking about it is really a bummer. So I mean, people should definitely check it out, test it out, wear it and enjoy it and hype it up. I think it deserves the hype. So L'Envol de Cartier by Cartier is at number 8. At number 7, a fragrance that was launched by Parfums de Marly this year. It's LAYTON. This is actually a unique fragrance for me because it's not very groundbreaking for a release from Parfums de Marly, even though it's a really, really great release. I think it's like the best designer fragrance of the year that's not released by a designer, if that makes sense. So it's released by Parfums de Marly, but it's very designer fragrance to me. But it doesn't mean it's bad. It's really, really great. And I think designers should actually look at this fragrance, get inspired by this. Because this is the kind of fragrances that designers should release, not the stuff that they've been releasing. Just every fragrance smelling the same over and over again with a little unique twist on it. So I really enjoy this one, and I'll say it again. It's the best designer release of the year, but it's not from a designer. LAYTON by Parfums de Marly. So number 6 is a retake or remake or inspired by kind of a fragrance. Is that correct to say? This is Au Cours de Désert by Tower Perfumes. Now, if you're a fan of L'Air du Désert Marocain, you might really like this, or then again, you might not. I really enjoy this one over L'Air du Désert Marocain because I like its longevity, and it's got this like more of a dense amberiness, not a dry amber, but more of a wet kind of an amber. That's what I like about it, and I really enjoy wearing it. And I like the fact that it also lasts longer. I mean, the price is a little higher than the original. It's like $50 more. It is extrait concentration, so that's why it comes off a lot more dense. The projection might not be as high as the original Eau de Toilette version, but then again, I don't really care about that. I really love the way this smells. So, Au Cours de Désert by Tower Perfumes is at number 6. The reason that didn't come up higher in the list is because it's not a unique scent because it's already been done as L'Air du Désert Marocain, but it is really, really great. So, at number 5, we've got one from an indie house, Imaginary Authors, and it's Slow Explosions. So, personally to me now, Slow Explosions is the best release that Imaginary Authors has released or launched, followed by A City on Fire at number 2, and then right after number 2, we've got the Cobra and the Canary at number 3, and Mosaic at number 4. Those are my 4 favorites from the brand, and I really enjoy them. But Slow Explosions, what a great release. Apple is really, really dominant here. It adds this sharp brightness to it, tart, to the rose and the saffron and the leather. Just a unique take on a fragrance. It's very Oriental or Middle Eastern inspired release, and if you're a rose lover, you're most likely going to like it. So Slow Explosions at number 5. Number 4, okay, so I know it's not a groundbreaking line of fragrances, but number 4 has become one of my favorite releases of the year, and I've used so much of it this past summer, and I keep enjoying it a lot. It's from the recently launched Louis Vuitton fragrances collection, and it is APOGEE. So APOGEE is Lily of the Valley. It's a floral, but the flower is not like it's kind of like a calm flower, not like a, you know, biting your head off kind of flower. It's not like a screeching flower. It's actually toned down by magnolia. It's toned down by citruses and woodiness, and the flower comes off, or the flowers come off very succulent. So there's a thickness to it. But boy, in the summertime when it's hot and humid, this fragrance smells so good, so good. And I was blown away at how great it was in performance and how great it is with the smell. It smells so great. But when I went to the Louis Vuitton boutique and then I smelled all the fragrances, it was not the first fragrance I fell in love with. Actually, there were 2 others that I loved, and then this was like a 3rd or a 4th, and then it ended up being my favorite. It's a great scent. So it's number 4, and it's APOGEE by Louis Vuitton. If you get a chance to check it out, do try it. So at number 3, we've got VERT de Bois by Tom Ford, the private blend collection. So what I like about this one is it's very green, it's very mossy, woody, and it's also very licoricey, or anise, or ouzo is the note in here. So big fan of anything licoricey, anisey, or you know, the ouzo or arak note that's in here. And it's a unique take. Actually, all 3 of the releases in this line, VERT de Encens and the VERT Bohème are great, but this being my favorite, VERT Encens being my second favorite. And actually VERT Bohème was not a favorite, it's actually being tied with VERT Encens now too. So really great releases recently, and then also Ombre Leather 16 was also a great release, but this is still my number one from those four, and it's number 3 here on this list. Do check it out if you haven't. It's VERT de Bois by Tom Ford. At number 2, from the house of MFK, this has moved up, and it is Grand Soir. Grand Soir, beautiful amber, really, really clean, shiny. It comes off very thin, but it has legs, it lasts on me. And very, very great scent. Inspired by Evening in Paris, because there's 2 in the collection. There's Petit Matin, which is inspired by the morning, and Grand Soir, inspired by the nighttime in Paris. And I think it's perfect for that inspiration. It's a great scent. If you're into the ambers, but this is not a dense, heavy amber. It doesn't spray on that way. It doesn't come off that way. It's very, very clean, just the way that Maison or Francis Kurkdjian does. His fragrances are very, very clean, refined. It's got major refinement. So Grand Soir number 2 from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. And last but not least, this is my favorite release from 2016, and it's called Bois by Chanel. So this is an aromatic fougere. It's a inspired by Bois Capel, Coco Chanel's, I guess one of her lovers or something. I don't know the details that very well, but it's a fragrance inspired by Bois Capel. That's why it's called Bois or Bois Chanel. And if you like Chanel and the DNA of the Chanel house of fragrances, you're gonna really like this one. I mean, when I first tried this one, I really immediately fell in love with it. And then what happened with me was it made me fall in love with all the Chanel kind of DNA style fragrances. It made me want to explore the house and start going through their releases, because once I started using this one, I kind of got to know that DNA, and I kind of pick it up in other fragrances. So it was great for me to explore the house, and I'm still slowly exploring, but this one just really, really awesome stuff. Really, really awesome. It's a unisex fougere. Men and women can wear it, but I think it's a little more masculine to me, but it doesn't matter because that Chanel DNA comes off a little feminine, even though it's more of like a fougere, an aromatic style fragrance. So you've got the lavender and the herbal notes. You've also got a little aldehydes in here. I think that's what's coming off like a Chanel DNA to me. But anyway, I think it's an excellent release from the house of Chanel. This is an eau de parfum, and all the less exclusives became eau de parfum recently as well. And some people are not very happy for fragrances like Sycamore and Coromandel and Coeur de Russie, which used to be eau de toilette, but they got reformulated and became eau de parfum. 330, the eau de toilettes used to be $280 for this size 200 ml, but now they're all $330. Anyway, great, great release. If you haven't tried it yet, do check it out. Bois Chanel by Chanel. All right, guys, that's my top 10 fragrances from 2016. One designer, well, several designers, but one from a regular lineup of designers releases, and several from their exclusive lineup. Anyway, guys, what do you think of this list? Do you like these fragrances? Are you not familiar with them? Are you interested in trying them out? What are your favorite releases of 2016? Please list below. Let's get a conversation started. Also, please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please like this video. Please share it. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed to it yet. There should be a subscribe now. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.